What's wrong? Are you okay? I stopped by my son and daughter-in-law's house to see how my 3-year-old grandchild was doing. What I saw was shocking. My granddaughter Sarah was chained up in the room, looking utterly exhausted and semi-conscious. What in the world? Furious, I immediately called 911, and they arrived in less than 5 minutes. However, to my surprise, I was handcuffed and arrested by the police officer. There must be some mistake. I was the one who called you. Despite my protest, I wasn't listened to and was taken away by the police. However, I later managed a turnaround due to a certain development. I swore to get revenge on the person who has subjected my granddaughter to such cruelty. I am Rebecca, 63 years old. My husband passed away 3 years ago, and I have been living alone since then. My son, Daniel, married Megan 5 years ago, and they live an hour's drive from my home. For about half a year, Daniel has been on a work assignment alone, and I haven't seen my grandchild, Sarah, since then. Wondering how she was doing, I messaged Megan over text message, and she replied the next day. Sarah wants to see you. Why don't you come over? I was having coffee with a friend near my son's house and replied, I'll drop by in about an hour, excitedly buying gifts for Sarah. However, when I arrived and rang the doorbell, no one seemed to be there. I found the door unlocked when I turned the knob. Megan, are you there? I'm coming in. Hesitantly entering the room, I found Sarah chained up. Sarah, what happened? Are you okay? Shocked, I rushed to her, but Sarah looked exhausted and she was semi-conscious. She had lost a lot of weight and I could see bruises on her skin through her tattered clothes. This is serious. I need to call the police. I immediately called 911 and arranged for an ambulance. Surprisingly, the police arrived within 5 minutes. As I was still in shock, they said, You are under arrest. And to my surprise, I was the one arrested. Wait a minute, please. There's been a mistake. I'm the one who called you. However, the police told me they had received a call 10 minutes earlier about a mother-in-law mistreating a small child. Who would do such a thing? Confused, I was about to be taken to the police car when I saw Megan peeking from behind the electricity pole. As the ambulance arrived, she rushed out in a panic. Sarah, what happened? Megan, can you please explain to them that I'm innocent? That's ridiculous. Officer, this woman is the one who did these terrible things to Sarah. What are you talking about? How could I, living separately, do such a thing? Megan glared at me fiercely, claiming she had been hospitalized due to illness and had left Sarah in my care during that time. Megan was the one who invited me over. What's going on? Stunned, I was led to the police car and watched the ambulance carrying my granddaughter and daughter-in-law drive away. Later at the police station, I was interrogated. Everything my daughter-in-law said is a lie. I don't even understand why I'm being treated as a criminal. I asked them to check the messages between Megan and me on my smartphone. However, all her replies had been deleted. It seemed Megan had erased the messages she had sent to me. Was Megan the one who harmed Sarah and reported it to the police? Although this thought crossed my mind, I had no proof and decided it was best not to speculate. For now, I showed the police the receipt for the gifts I bought for Sarah, continuously explaining that I had nothing to do with this. However, they did not believe me. After being released due to insufficient evidence, I went home and called my son, Daniel. Mom, what's the matter all of a sudden? Oh, just wondering how you're doing. I miss seeing Sarah. Sarah's full of energy. Megan gives me daily updates. Daniel didn't sound like he was lying, which confused me, but I knew I couldn't protect Sarah if I just hung up. I quickly searched for what to say next. Oh, I heard Megan was unwell and had been hospitalized? I don't think so. She didn't even seem to have a cold. Daniel spoke hesitantly about his own wife, making me suspect he was hiding something. When I asked if something was wrong, Daniel was silent for a while before sighing deeply. I guess I can't hide it from you, Mom. Actually, we're getting divorced. What? Why? We aren't compatible with each other. We've been arguing non-stop since I started working away from home. I was surprised by his response. When I heard that custody of Sarah would go to Megan after the divorce, I raised my voice without thinking. That's not acceptable. Absolutely not.
I know it's sad, like losing a granddaughter, but it's best for a child to live with their mother.
No, you're wrong. Please, just listen to me. Then I told Daniel everything that happened today, including how I was treated as a suspect and taken to the police. Daniel was surprised and muttered,
What do you mean?
Daniel seemed truly unaware of everything, so I thought it might be best to share my suspicions. I'm so worried about Sarah. I hate to think about this, but I'm worried Megan might be doing something to her.
Which hospital was Sarah taken to?
The paramedics told me, but I think I'll go see for myself. As I talked to my son, I became restless and, ending the call, immediately jumped into my car. An hour later, I arrived at the hospital. I disguised myself and I had a chat with the waiting patients, looking around for Sarah and Megan. I don't know where Sarah is. What should I do now? Though unsure what to do next, I stepped outside to the backyard for some fresh air and heard a familiar voice. There I saw Megan and a doctor talking intimately.
The police were so easily fooled by me. It's almost funny. I'm the one who chained Sarah and didn't give her any meals. They think that my mother-in-law is the culprit, so she won't be able to get out of the police station for a while.
Hearing this confirmed my suspicions, leaving me feeling devastated. Then Megan revealed a certain plan that made my anger surge within me.
Not today. To avoid suspicion, let's do it in 2 or 3 days.
Megan's face, unlike any I'd seen before, was cold, sending shivers down my spine. However, overhearing their conversation helped me understand Megan's inexplicable actions. There's no time to waste. I swore to protect Sarah at any cost, and I began to prepare myself. The next day, I waited in the backyard where Megan had met with the doctor. According to their conversation the day before, they always met here for private talks. As I hid behind a large tree, they arrived as expected.
It's unbelievable. Sarah regained consciousness. If she gets better, they'll find out I was the one who did that to her. Do something before she recovers.
Megan, agitated, shouted loudly. The man, soothing her shoulder, nodded.
Leave it to me.
If it goes well, you'll get half of Sarah's life insurance. Make sure she's gone for good. Then, after that mother-in-law is in prison, I'll share the property with you.
Biting my lip in anger, I could no longer contain my frustration. I'd like to hear more about what you just said.
What? Mother-in-law, what are you doing here?
I was released due to lack of evidence. Unfortunate for you. Megan, looking uneasy, approached me as if nothing had happened.
I'm so relieved. I was worried about you.
What are you talking about? You're the one who reported me to the police.
That's not possible.
Before Megan could finish, I played a video on my phone of their conversation from the previous day. The video revealed all their plots. Megan's face turned pale as she heard it. Not only did you make Sarah suffer, but you also tried to frame me, and after getting me in prison, you planned to take my property. You two are monsters. The doctor was Megan's ex-boyfriend, as I learned when I sent their photo to Daniel. So, doctor, how much debt do you have through gambling?
How? How do you know that?
Daniel had told me that Megan and her ex had broken up because of his gambling debts. Suspecting Megan might repeat her actions, I decided to play a trick on her, and it seemed I was right on target.
I've borrowed $80,000 from Consumer Finance. Oh, I know. If you want to save Sarah, how about you pay off the debt instead?
You really are something. If we're going to talk about this, let's do it in Sarah's hospital room. I went to the hospital room where Sarah was, accompanied by Megan and the doctor. Upon seeing Sarah lying in the bed, I rushed over to her in joy. Sarah, it's Grandma. Do you understand?
Yeah, Grandma, I was scared.
Holding my hand and hugging me, I felt really bad for my granddaughter having to go through such a thing. I can't imagine how terrified she must have been. It's okay now. I will protect you no matter what. As I was comforting her, I heard a click and turned around to see Megan locking the hospital room door.
Oh, what a touching scene. Maybe I should join in. Just kidding.
As Megan approached me with a smirk, she swiftly snatched my smartphone from my hand and smashed it on the floor. She then took out the SIM card and broke it in half.
Evidence destroyed. This is the end for you, mother-in-law. It's time for you to join your husband.
What do you mean?
It's more profitable to take all of your assets than have you pay off the debt.
As I stood there in shock, Megan pinned me down, and the doctor, with a sinister grin, pulled out a syringe from his pocket. This was the dreadful plan I overheard in the hospital's backyard.
Just as well, I was prepared. Shall I start with the old lady instead of the child?
Said the doctor, approaching me.
Let go of my mom!
My son Daniel, who had been hiding under the bed, emerged with his smartphone, surprising Megan and the doctor.
Why are you here?
I came after Mom contacted me. I've heard everything.
You deliberately lured us to this room.
Megan glared at me angrily. By the way, you may have destroyed the SIM card, but I have another one as a backup. Oh, and this conversation is being recorded on my son's phone right now. Daniel stood protectively in front of us, preventing Megan and the doctor from harming us. Megan looked pale, but was not ready to give up.
Hey, hurry up and finish them. Come on, don't just stand there.
Pushed by Megan, the doctor, sweating profusely, hesitantly approached Daniel. At that moment, a female voice asked,
What's going on?
I had secretly pressed the nurse call button, and a nurse responded.
It's an emergency. Get the key to this room and bring security. We'll be killed if you don't hurry.
The nurse exclaimed,
What?
And forgetting to end the call, was heard phoning someone. Panicked, the doctor tried to leave the room, but couldn't walk properly, fumbling over. Please, come quickly! As I raised my voice, the sound of clattering was heard, and security guards and nurses burst into the room. I quickly explained the situation, and they restrained Megan and the doctor. He tried to attack me with a syringe from his pocket. Please, check what's in that syringe. The guards confiscated the syringe with the suspicious liquid, and the doctor tried to escape blame, saying,
I'm innocent. I was seduced and manipulated by this woman.
The evidence in the video will show who's really behind all this. Let the police decide.
Megan, there's no need for discussion. I'm divorcing you. I will take care of Sarah.
Wait, don't abandon me. I'll break up with my ex and make it up to you.
Despite her tears and clinging to Daniel, he pushed her away. Then she turned to me and knelt down.
Mother-in-law, please, I beg you, don't send me to the police. I promise I won't do this again.
You should be grateful you're not chained up and starving like Sarah was. Feel a bit of her pain. Look, your ride is here. Outside the room, the police car called by the nurse had arrived. When I handed over the SIM card with the video and the data from my son's phone as evidence, Megan and the doctor were taken away dejected. Later, Megan and the doctor were confirmed to be going to prison for conspiring to endanger my granddaughter's life and framing me. Daniel divorced Megan and gained custody of Sarah. He demanded $30,000 in damages for Sarah's mental anguish and infidelity from both Megan and the doctor. I took care of Sarah for a while. She's now lively and happily running around the garden. Daniel's work assignment is ending soon, and I look forward to living with my son and granddaughter.